Welcome to episode 81 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, my host, Stefan Loeffler at Junkwax Twins.
I'd say something, but I got muted.
Deshaun Jackson at Our Trading Cards. We're celebrating too early. And Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. Whoa.
And Angela's in the background.
We are a podcast by collectors, hoping to bring you a smart, insightful podcast about trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
And you on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, a bunch of places. Check it out. Obviously, you are listening to us somewhere, so that's awesome. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. You're available as a podcast pretty much everywhere. iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher are some of our faves. Check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com and find us on Flick Chat app. We'll talk about the pod there. What's up, fellas? Another week.
Another week, another dollar.
Oh yeah, making some money.
Ideally, I got sorry.
Good Lord.
Packaging up a shipment for my ComC inventory. Got some pinks and numbered stuff, and we'll see. Fancy.
That's cool. All right. That's awesome. How's your week been, Benjamin?
I'm depressed. Like this is like a deep-seated meaning of life depression that only an eBay shopping spree can solve. I literally got a package in the mail yesterday that wasn't even baseball card related. And I went to leave feedback, and I left feedback for 4 items. And then I realized once I archive them, I literally have nothing else coming. And I was really upset, and I just didn't want to have the will to go on. And so I did what any person would do. I bought a Martin Sheen certified autograph picture. Unfortunately, it was from that guy Probstein, though, but it was a really good deal, so I had no choice.
Where are you buying?
It's President Bartlett. Dude, sometimes you have to swallow your pride and your ethics because it's President Bartlett. So you can judge me if you want, but it's one of those things. I was in a dark place because, like I said, I had nothing coming. And, I had no hobby will to survive, so I did what I had to do.
Couldn't buy some 87 Maguires from someone?
Listen, it was President Bartlett, and I'm a big West Wing fan. So
no one knew that.
See,
I know.
The way you started that, I thought it was going to be your rant because you agreed with Rich on something.
Oh, and that happened in the same day? I mean, I made a comment that The Natural was one of the worst baseball movies of all of the time, every of the day, all of the movies. And Rich is like, I agree. So he thought he was having a Red Fox, I'm coming heart attack. The apocalypse is upon us. If you have a bunker, if you have a nuclear shelter, if you stockpile batteries and water bottles and canned food, run, because Rich, Klein, and Ben Wilson agree.
Yeah, no, we can't let that happen anymore.
Yeah, it was unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was in a dark place.
Well, yeah. Well, I went and spent $5 at Wally World the other day, and I got another no number 700. Dad.
So you can just mail that to.
Nope.
Yep.
I have like 6 or 7. I like it. It's fun. We'll hop into it. The week that was last week's releases. Big list here. Topps Living Week 96. Card 275. Todd Helton, first baseman of the Colorado Rockies, sold 2,044 cards. We believe that does include the subscriptions, which I think is $559. And then card 276, David Fletcher, third baseman, Los Angeles Angels, 1920. So it looks like this is the first card below 2,000. So you can always check out Topps Living Stat for full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set by team and pie position. Guys, were you surprised at all?
This set's going to keep trending down and down and down and down.
Not this week.
I think we're going to see it probably in the 2,000 to 2,200 range, most cards, week in, week out for the foreseeable future. I mean, you'll see bumps.
Yordan Alvarez, when he gets his, that'll be a nice. And Bo Bichette.
Yeah,
Those guys will be.
Yeah, they'll probably get into the 7,000s and stuff. I don't think we're going to see another 10,000 guy unless they end up. I think the only guys that really have an opportunity, and you guys can disagree, 10,000 guys like Willie Mays, maybe Lou Garrett. That depends on how many you buy, if it's artificially inflated. But
maybe if Trout gets traded.
Really, 3 guys I can see hitting 10 grand, and that's Mays, Gehrig, and Mickey Mantle if Mantle ever gets one. If they ever get a license for him, I think that. Other than that, who else? I mean, not 10. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, no. And we'll never see anybody beat Acuna out either. Because he was at 46,000.
Not unless they start giving them away.
Yeah. So let's hop into that was the only release. There was nothing else. Hot off the presses, the new releases this week. We have a couple. Topps Living Week 97. Card 277, Witt Merrifield, outfielder, Kansas City Royals, and card 278, Sunny Gray Skies, pitcher, Cincinnati Reds. By the way, he kind of looks like he's old and high. That's like one of those old filters you would have on your face on like Instagram. Or he just smoked a bowl and was like, hey, take my picture.
Been watching too much Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
What it really does look like is it's just a little too, like the sun coming in. It looks a little light is all the lack of shadow. But no, the Whit Merrifield is a really good looking card with the helmet. I like the batting helmet look. You know, and I like the way that you got the squiggly, like the reflection on the right side of the helmet. I think it's pretty badass.
No, it's a good looking card. I picked a couple up already.
Of course you did. So no, it's a fun set. I'm looking forward to really seeing over the next couple of years how long this set lasts. You know, there's going to be a debate every week. Anytime something comes out, there's always going to be that debate of, is a set going to last forever? And it's like, yeah, it's going to last a while.
Oh, I think so.
Forever, probably not, but for a while, a couple more years probably.
I would like to see it. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I can't wait to see some new rookies coming out, but you know, we're a few weeks away from Series 1 dropping, which is always, you know, it's the same week as the Super Bowl, so that's like just kind of awesome. So 2019-20,
you know what's better than baseball and Series 1 coming up?
What's that?
Hockey.
Well, 1920 Upper Deck Trilogy Hockey dropped today. 6 packs per box, 4 cards per pack. You're going to get 2 autos and or mim, 2 inserts and or parallels, and 2 rookies. It's a 150 card base set. The rookies will have 3 different cards to collect: a common, an uncommon, and a rare. New for this year, the crystallized cards, which land one in every 180 packs. They have signature pucks. They use a simulated puck for signing, which looked pretty cool. There's one there of Matt Murray. The basics are 1 out of every 30 packs, and the rookies' signature pucks are 1 in every 180 packs. And those are all numbered. If there's a team logo, it's out of 20 or 25, and the NHL logo is out of 3. They do everything kind of in thirds in this set, you know, trilogy. So
I see what they did there.
Mm-hmm.
No, they've done something similar to that, where they had not a puck, but like a football helmet, or I believe they also had baseball helmets. I like the idea. I just don't know how many years they can do it, because it kind of got stale the second year they tried the football helmets.
Yeah, but it's a good looking card.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and who won a Dreisaitl?
Yeah, I opened some Series 110s. You can check it out on our Periscope. I'll have it up on the YouTube page.
Which,
probably
by the way,
week.
Jonathan Toews, really, sir?
Towels? What? How do you? What? What's your name?
Taves.
Taves. Taves. That's how it's pronounced.
It's not Jonathan Toews. Me and Angela had a
spell it correctly.
About that.
Spell it correctly. By the way, I did pull. So I didn't know I pulled out anything any good, and then I looked up and I pulled this canvas of. I'm going to get rid of the screen here so you can see my awesome pull. A canvas Young Guns of Cale Maker.
Okay. I think it's
Makar of the Avalanche. Like $100 card, so it's on eBay if you want to buy it. So. Anyway, So that came out, and then dropping Friday, 2019-20 Panini Revolution Basketball, $118 a box, 8 packs per box, 5 cards per pack, 4 inserts and 4 inserts and 8 parallels. 150 card base set. There's 100 vets and 50 rookies. It's a foil card stock with holographic backgrounds, and it gives it like a shiny, bright look to it. And the autographs are available, and they are on card, but you're not guaranteed one in a box. Instead, they've kind of really put the emphasis on the parallels and the inserts. And there are an average of 6 autographs per case, which is almost a little better than 3 a box. One in every 3 boxes.
Okay.
And they have the Chinese New Year. Steph showing the parallels. Like the Chinese New Year one has always been really popular.
What's the other parallels here?
Yeah, you have Astro, Chinese New Year, Fractal, Galactic Groove. A lot of these guys are some of the favorites if you're looking Lava. If you're looking the Sunburst one, if you're looking for a base card parallel that has a little bit of value, those are always pretty popular.
That Barkley they showed is pretty sick.
I'm sorry?
That Barkley?
Mm-hmm.
You scroll up a little bit, that's pretty sick. I like it with the old school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a good looking card.
Yeah, that was like the 92-93 Sixers jersey. Well, yeah, the shooting stars and the Sixers kind of bolted out. It was always nice.
Yeah, there's a guy that comes. His name is Ron. He comes to our. He buys from Tim all the time at the local shows. I have no idea how the guy collects. He just like buys whatever he likes. It's a good looking card. He buys it. He has no rhyme or reason. Doesn't really collect players, teams, years, sets. I don't think. I think he just. I like that. I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's kind of what that Charles Barkley falls into. It's like, that's a good looking card. If I ran across that and it was at a decent price and I collected like he does, where it's just no rhyme or reason, buy what you like, I'd be all over that card. I think that's a sharp looking card.
Yeah.
So because I was curious, and their parallel line seems to want to emphasize for the overseas markets, Chinese New Year Emerald, Chinese Hollow Gold. I looked one up, and mind you, it's still with bids, but kind of a nice design on the background.
Yeah, and did you notice they're numbered out of 8 or 88?
888, yep.
Yep.
For those numerologists.
Well, and also in Chinese culture, the 8 stand is a lucky number. So that's why the Olympics, when they were in China, started on 8/8 at 8 o'clock or whatever.
2008, 2018.
Yeah. Whatever it was. I don't know. Who cares? The Olympics suck, and I don't even get into it.
Only for hockey.
No. For everything. The Olympics should not exist.
Sir,
at me.
As part of your hockey indoctrination, you have to watch the Olympic hockey games.
I understand, but Olympics in general are terrible for the world.
Oh, absolutely.
They're
every
god
other sport
awful.
sucks.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying, real quick before we move on, I have to get this point out because it'll drive me nuts. When they go to these countries that spend all of this money to host an Olympics for 3 months or 3 weeks, and they take all the taxpayers' money, and then all of a sudden, then they just let everything fall away, and they've taken government funds away from the people that paid into it to have this thing here for 3 weeks, and then they don't care about it anymore. I mean, look at Brazil, London, all of the places where the Olympics have been, and all the abandoned Olympic venues. Yeah, it's garbage. Anyway, what's brewing? Next week's releases. 2020 Topps Archive Signature Series Active Player Edition. It got pushed back because a couple weeks because they had to wait for the mail to come through. The holiday mail got backed up. The TTMs didn't get in time.
Yeah.
So, I think I know there's some TTM collectors that probably have a better return rate on autographs than what this will get you. I guarantee Wax Pack 916 Wax Pack John, he would be able to Steve, I'm sorry. I was thinking of anyway. I think Steve has probably a better collection of TTM autographs than what this set could ever put out. 1920 Panini Crown Royal Basketball, Steph's favorite basketball product.
I like the taste of it.
Yeah, it tastes good in his mouth. And then 1920 Upper Deck SP Game Used, which I can't wait to start. I haven't looked yet, but I have a feeling those are going to be some pretty looking cards. Because I mean, I'm looking at Series 1. Series 1 was dude, the Series 1 Upper Deck hockey looked like Stadium Club with the photography.
And that's an every year thing too.
Mm-hmm. It's great. All right, let's hop into it. Infield chatter. our Hobby Talk section.
Yeah.
Timmy. So Project 55 or Project 55, he collects, obviously, Tim Lincecum. Tweeted out, a lot of things had to go right for this to happen. Thank you to my friends in the community who helped me make this happen. The Tim Lincecum rookie refractor trio, I'm stunned. Well, this dude has the Bowman Chrome Lincecum rookie, the first Bowman Chrome Lincecum, and then another Bowman Chrome Lincecum rookie. And I don't know.
So it looks like the Bowman draft picks, Superfractor, the Prospect Auto Superfractor, and the regular Bowman Chrome Superfractor.
Yeah, all they're graded PSA 9s. One's a Beckett 9. Don't care that they're graded, but the fact is to have those 3 Superfractors of he's still a well collected player. And
Sure.
One of my favorites, he won a couple Cy Youngs, some handful of World Series with the Giants, and was my favorite was when they were playing the Phillies in the playoffs, and they had somebody on third, and he was in a tough situation and struck out the batter, and he pointed at third, and he said, "You stayed up there." It was awesome.
He has maybe the best GIF.
Oh, which one's that?
On the internet. I'm pulling it up now.
Well, and he's got the best arbitration story in the history of arbitration stories when he went against the Giants and he walked in with his Cy Youngs and just set them on the table and walked away as a winner in arbitration. I mean, that's kind of a pimp move. Just like, hey.
Yeah.
Everyday sideline, him acting well.
He's being
like
himself.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of superfractors being graded ever. I understand the purpose of encasing them, but we've talked about this before. It's just the hobby has so many ways for us to protect cards now.
If you bought them this way and he didn't do that,
well, yeah,
I have a feeling he probably bought them graded.
I'm sure. And the fact that they're so old now, the way we look at grading in 2019, 2020 and beyond is a little different than we looked at it back 12, 13 years ago.
God, can you believe that's long ago?
Yeah.
I feel like how old I really do. It makes me feel old when you're like, 2004 was 15 years ago or 16 years ago. And you're like,
that stupid Facebook move that says, 2050 is as close as 1990. And you're like, you shut up, Facebook. Shut up your face.
Yeah. Well, that's why Facebook is that's why I figured out I hate Instagram too, is because it's a Facebook company. Found that out, and it made me understand why I don't like Instagram. Anyway, there is a new Twitter account you guys need to follow, and we're going to be stealing data from this Twitter account going forward, misappropriating it, misremembering it. At Card Polls, check it out. It just started this month. The first poll that he put out was the 80s saw an explosion in the hobby. What was your favorite baseball card brand of the 1980s? Topps, Donruss, Fleer, Score. Topps won at 55%. Donruss, 22%. Fleer and Score both with 11%. I mean, looks like Steph here went Score. I obviously went with Topps.
But, that's what? 1 vote? 1 vote, 2 votes, 5 votes?
It's 9 votes. I mean, yeah.
It was his first one.
5 to 2 to 1 to 1. I mean, let's not act like this was thousands of votes in which the percentage.
It was his first poll, so we need to get him some more followers and some more votes.
Absolutely, I'm just saying,
here's 100.
When you're looking at a vote of 9 votes, 1 or 2 people are going to sway that opinion. All of a sudden, if I didn't vote for Topps and I voted for Score, now it's 4 to 2 to 2 to 1.
We can figure out the math.
So
here's the next poll, and I like this. Where do you buy most of your cards? eBay, social media, local card shop, other. eBay hit 54%, local card shop almost 22%, other 17, almost 18%, and then social media 6.5.
What qualifies as other?
It's not one of those 3. So maybe card show, maybe ComC. Maybe they're going to the sport lots, or they're going and buying retail. I mean,
I guess in my head, this is just the way I would look at it. Local card shop, local card show, same thing.
I understand, but I'm just saying you're probably thinking retail,
Yeah.
And then Com C and then Sport Lots all kind of lumped together because you only can have 4 things in a poll.
Yeah,
So,
eBay, ComC, Sport Lots, any other. Yeah, I mean, that I would lump those all together, just like social media would lump Twitter, Facebook, and I guess people do actually buy cards on Instagram.
yeah.
Right.
Weird.
Anyway, so this and I reached out to this collector, and he does have another Twitter handle, and all I'll say about him is he enjoys the Cubs.
He might really want to enjoy the Cubs a lot.
Yes.
In quantity.
Gumballs. I love gumballs. Do you like gumballs?
I love
back to childhood. At @used_cardboard, which by the way is a great Twitter handle. After a decade, I finally put the finishing touches on my Oak Premier gum and card and gum vendor. Works perfectly and a great use for the Endless Tops rookie reprints. So he's got gumballs and he's got a Ricky Henderson reprint and a Reggie Jackson reprint card in there. You can put your money and get cards and gum together.
I'd love to see a video of it in progress.
Yes, that's what we need. Let's reach out to Used Cardboard and say, hey, we want to see a video. So hit him up. Follow him. I looked through. He's got some pretty interesting posts too. So he seemed like
I thought I already was. I swear Twitter's screwing around because I swear I had already done
right.
it. But
yeah, but you know, he's a good follow. I just did it a couple days ago when I saw this, and pretty great. So, and it was funny. Sometimes you'll see a tweet and you're like, "Oh, that's a good one. Do I follow this?" And you already do. And you're just like, "Oh, awesome."
Every once in a while, yeah, it's funny how that happens where you don't have direct interaction with certain people until something happens. You know, somebody hops in because they see something, and you're like, "I like you." And I think we should be Twitter friends. And then
we already are.
You already are. And you're like, see?
That's awesome.
See, it happens. I mean, that happened to me one time with you. And I'm like, son of a gun. And now I'm stuck with you.
Yeah. Where's the other way around? So Adley Super, we talked about this card a few weeks ago. And our buddy Drew's cards at DWIL66 tweeted out, you can clearly see damage on the right side of the card. What the hell? PSA tweeted out a picture of it, and their tweet was, this ultra rare superfractor rookie of switch hitting prospect and #1 overall pick Adley Rutschman is a stunner in a PSA 10 form. And so you look at the card and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a awesome superfractor, good looking card. And then if you look, they had a close up of the card on the right hand side. There is damage on the edging of the card, which would probably make it like a, I guess a PSA 9. BGS might be a 9.5 just because the edge is a little rough. And we
looks
saw
like
this.
The foil is peeling off.
Yeah, and I think we saw this on a pristine 10 Pete Alonso Topps Chrome rookie auto, where it was a black label, so that means it's a perfect card. 10s all across the board on everything. Corners, surface, edges, and centering. But the bottom right or bottom left corner had just a titch of a white spot. Clear enough to see in the picture, and it's still got a pristine 10. So, again, it's all observational, and it's all subjective on this grading. So, grade what you will, grade what you want.
Speaking of optional and subjective.
It matters because a card that has damage shouldn't be graded a 10. However, speaking of this, at the end of the day, it's a superfractor. So damage, no damage, it's a superfractor. So does it affect its overall resale value? Probably not, but it shouldn't be graded a gem mint 10 if it's not. So it's almost two separate arguments. You throw it back up at auction, is it going to sell for 23 grand again? Who knows? But it's still going to hold its value relative to the current market. But yeah, a card in the subjectivity of it, could always be based on the merit and integrity of the card's overall appearance. That one shouldn't be a 10.
It just confirms that I'd rather have the Mantle, the Trout, the...
Dang it! By the way, I just want to know if Bean was the inspiration for Billy Bob in Varsity Blues.
Duh. They're like a carbon.
Put that together. So no, and then Hawk Collectible So at Night Owl Cards, an amazing Twitter follow, really good blog post, all this stuff.
Love
awesome. Yeah, need to follow. I was alive when this happened. I did nothing about it. This looks like an ad from the early 80s listing unopened packs of baseball cards. 51 tops redback, 50 cents a pack. 59 tops wax pack, 35 cents. 60 tops, 30 cents. 62 tops, 30 cents. 66 tops, a quarter. 67 tops, 50 cents. 68 tops, 20 cents. 70 tops, 20. 72, 15 cents. 73, 20. 74, 10 cents. Or a special one of each, only $2.75 total. And then you also can get a high number 81 tops high number singles from Venezuela for $3.50. I can't see the rest of the ad, but holy smokes!
Simmons.
I have like a $20. Oh, Valenzuela, that's what it was. High number singles Valenzuela for $3.50. I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I have like $100. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna buy some of those 59 tops wax packs real quick, and some of those 66, and
Yeah, but
Jesus.
And who's to say that they haven't been searched? But even at that price,
I don't care.
If you get a 67 high, some of those cards are extremely rare to come across.
Both 66 and 67 high cost me a fortune to grab the A's when I was going, and there were no names. But you do see there's no 63 on there, which has the Rose.
Were they raised?
69, which has the Jackson. Obviously, when we go back to the 50s, that's a whole nother scenario. But even if we adjust for inflation, those prices are crazy. I mean,
definitely.
They're even relative to the day that ad was printed. But again, at the same time, this is pre-junk wax era, so the hobby was viewed a little differently back then. It wasn't necessarily as collectible as it was just a handful of years later. So it was still more of a bike spoke at that time. We look back now and go, oh my Jesus. But we would have to put ourselves in the mindset of what a collector of cards would have thought at that time. They saw that.
Okay, so really quick, per Baseball Card Exchange, a 67 tops unopened cello pack is for, and that probably wasn't, it's probably just a regular pack, but a cello pack's $1,500.
So I'm just assuming 82 since it's talking about 81 high number. So it's got to be towards the end of the year.
Sure.
But in 81, 82, I purchased an item for 50 cents. The 51 wax pack. Even here, $2.75.
What was minimum wage back in 1982?
I'd pay $8 shipped for one of each of these.
So real quick, a 72 wax pack, right now $345 on Baseball Card Exchange.
But the mindset's completely different. We have to look at it in a vacuum. Their cards weren't worthless back then, but they didn't have the same appeal because, again, it was pre-junk wax era.
It's just fun to look at.
It is. It's incredible when we look back and go, if a time machine was ever invented, what year would you go back to? And most of us, collectors are going to first say, go back to 52, go back to 1909.
61.
But the other thing is think about that. So if you had somebody had a time machine and they went and bought those packs of cards that later on you somehow bought those cards that were open in the pack and traded and sold over the 40 years, and you open your page up and you're showing your complete 59 top set, and all of a sudden, boom, one of the star cards is gone because that one was somebody went back and stole. That's not right.
So what you're saying is we need to avoid a Back to the Future moment and not have relations with their mother?
Yes.
Well, and if you go back in time, then you start running all the variables.
Back in time.
Somebody goes and gobbles up all the 52 tops, then they're worth even more, and so on and so forth, right? All the ripple effect.
Speaking of worth a lot of money, 93 SP Jeter. So our buddy Ryan Cracknell of Beckett posted a great article. And this is all from his article. So just you can check it out on Beckett. Steph will share the link. A 93 SP Derek Jeter rookie card set a record on Saturday, January 11th, selling for $180,000 to Memory Card Lane's Winter Classic 2019 auction. Graded a Gem Mint PSA 10. It's the third time the card has crossed a third time the card has crossed the six-figure threshold. The price includes the buyer's premium. The 93 SP Derek Jeter rookie card has been popular for decades. It long has been considered the Yankee legend's top rookie, and prices have reflected this. However, the last several years have seen the already iconic card explode. At PSA 10 topped 50,000 for the first time in 2017, and in 2018, a pair of PSA 10s flirted with six figures, but never quite crossed the mark. Finding a gem mint copies are extremely rare. To date, just 22 copies of the card have gem mint 10 grades. That's out of more than 14,000 times the card's been graded by the company. BGS has graded the same card more than 15,000 times, with 259 gem mint 9.5 copies and 0 pristine 10s. Freaking crazy, because the foil board of the card, you have surface and edge and corner issues throughout. This is one of, I think SP, was it 93 SP the first year of SP, Ben?
Yep.
Pretty
sure.
It was, I remember then it was like, I think it was $5-10 a pack when it came out. I mean, you're looking, normally we're $4, 40 cents to $1 a pack. And then you have these packs coming out at 5 or 10 times what the rest were. I mean, SP and were some of the most sought after cards that year. So, and then the fact is, you have a Hall of Famer on the Yankee, or a future Hall of Famer on the Yankees that has is considered his best rookie in the set, just kind of pushes it forward as well.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, that year also has the first rookie of Pat Mahomes.
The Pat Mahomes, yeah.
So it's exciting from the aspect of the fact that over the last few years, we're seeing more and more of the rookie cards, the true rookie cards, becoming more collectible and sought after, to see more recent modern cards, not just all of the 50s, 60s, and 70s rookie cards, but to see something a little closer to modern, where we're at now. Seeing something sell at that high is nice. I mean, what's the next big one? Ichiro and Albert Pujols, maybe, before you start to get into Verlander and Kershaw.
But is it Pujols, really? Think about his collectibility. I don't think he's as collectible as Ichiro.
In 2001, he was.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 1986, Jose Canseco was more collectible than all these guys put together.
We're just kind of thinking of when you go from Jeter and maybe A-Rod, despite the fact that he's got kind of a black mark. Yeah. When we start to get into the mid 90s, as you go towards 2000, what's the next big name? Probably nobody until you get to, I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but once you get past Jeter, it's probably Ichiro and Pujols, Cabrera, and then once you get past that, it's probably Verlander and Kershaw until you get to Trout. And I'm sure there are a few names in there we're missing. But at the end of the day, it's nice to see a card like this sell, because it's mirroring a lot of the big boys of the vintage and pre-war at that price point.
Definitely. Yeah. And, as someone said on Periscope here, the price on the card is great. Definitely. If you have a single of this at home, may be worth sending in, depending on condition, mind you.
Well, but, even bad condition of this card, I think it still commands a pretty good premium. It's just because it's like somebody, okay, hey, I can't get a gem mint 10, right? But maybe I can get a 4 or 5, and then be able just to say, hey, I have that card, right?
Right.
Right now, you can see. Let's see. I'm pulled it up here. Let's see. Sold auctions. What would you pay? I mean, Ben, I know you're not in the Yankees collector, right? But what would you put out for a PSA 4 Derek Jeter?
It's hard. A couple $100 probably wouldn't. Let's say, I know at one point, Tim, I don't know if you're still doing it, but you were trying to work on collecting just all like the major rookie cards throughout the year, certain players. And I know at one point I came up with a list of about 140 players that we're not talking Mantle and Mays. We're talking more like guys that had rookie cards maybe in 58 and more recently that are a little bit more affordable. And all the guys to the 70s and 80s, which are extremely affordable. so if you get into the 90s now and you got to get a Jeter and an A-Rod, yeah, a couple $100, I would think would be fair. It's not how much I would want to pay if I'm doing a project like that because it wouldn't be my main PC.
Yeah.
But again, if we're just kind of pulling ourselves away for a minute and saying, here's a card that's worth $180,000 just to say I had got one.
Well, yeah, there was a PSA 6 that sold November 3rd for $205.50. That's not too terrible. PSA 7, 256 with 44 bids. No graded. Sold for $186.50. I mean, there's some edging issues and stuff, but like if you could get one for $180,
absolutely
right. And say I have that card, so anyway, it was just one of those things like, hey, look, this is a crazy price for a baseball card. I mean, there's some states where you can buy a really, really nice house for that. California, not that state. Wow. So Kevin Jones, I'm just reading here in the comments on YouTube. A local card shop dealer in my town said a guy came in with 9 pages of superb 93 SP Jeters a few years ago. He didn't buy them as they were haggling over $100. He could kick himself for it.
It's okay. We guarantee he can read, guys.
Yes. Hey, well, sometimes when, I'm juggling a couple screens here. Come on. Upper Deck Series 2 Young Guns was released. Upper Deck Hockey tweeted out, here they are. Your 2019-20 Upper Deck NHL Upper Deck Series 2 Young Gun rookie cards. Steph, who are these guys should we be looking for? Come on now. Where's the list?
I'm trying to screen share.
Well, if you weren't screwing around.
Well, that's why I'm not reading out loud.
God, I'm glad I'm not getting in trouble on this episode.
This episode. No,
they
from the
highlighted
list,
some guys on here.
They did. Kirby Dosh, Oliver Wahlstrom, Barrett Hayton. Guys I recognize. Homer Pick, Kakanen's supposed to be a good goalie.
Oh, there's my guy, Cale McCarr.
Caden Primo, Rem Pitlick, Cale McCarr, obviously.
Capo.
Zedina, Capo Caco. They pretty good list. Mind you, yet to see who's made their debut for the update series.
So real quick, how did I get this canvas one if the dude's in series 2?
It's a good question. Maybe you should talk to Chris.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different picture because he's wearing a blue and red uniform.
No, because remember, they pushed back the release for Series 1.
Yeah. But why would
so
be
that
in
they
series
could include
2?
everybody who made their debut on opening night or the opening week or what have you.
But I'm just saying, does he have 2 Young Guns then?
Maybe they released the canvas in Series 1 and the Young Guns in Series 2.
Questions afoot. No, but so is what non-highlighted guy on there that you see a name of that you're like, dude, that one looks pretty decent. Like that's a dude to look at.
I like all of them.
Let's see you try to pronounce them.
That's
I got Jonathan Taves right, and I don't even watch hockey.
Toes.
It's Toes.
Okay, that's how you spell it.
It's like just like Brett Favre.
That's right.
Favor.
Anyway, you know what? I don't like you guys anymore.
I'm
gonna do new podcasts with better hosts.
But no, to give you one pick that's I think I saw it. Timashov, good goal scorer. As well, if he's on here, Kravtsov, that's hard to pronounce. Krvatsov. Not sure. I thought I saw him on here. Maybe it was a Series 1 include. And Sam Steele, who I know I saw. So.
Okay. Well, if they fail, we're going to let you know right at Junkwack Twins and tell him how much you spent on the Young Guns, and he'll reimburse you.
Look, my Super Bowl picks are already busted, so let's not talk about it.
Hey, mine are still looking pretty good. So Topps is doing their 1 million card break for Series 1 2020 Topps on the 4th, the day before the release of Series
in
1.
Arlington's AT&T Stadium. Yes,
Correct. Down in Dallas, it's all the same.
Arlington.
The Metroplex, isn't that what you fellows call it down there? You Cowboys.
Yep.
There's going to be 18 breakers breaking 1 million cards. Now, all of these breakers, I think, are the article has links to all the breakers, and each one of them seems to be doing their breaks pricing a little differently. But the breakers are doing it one of one card shop, all-star case breaks, Badger breaks, blowout cards, Bomber sports cards, Dakota Gaming Supply, David Adams Card World, Grand Slam Collectibles, Jaspy's case breaks, sports cards, live case break, Mojo Break. There we go. Monster breaks, real breaks, Restless Craft breakers. Wow. Steel City Collectibles, the Clubhouse, and Top Shelf breaks. Where's Platinum breaks? Where's our boy? He didn't make the list. But so if you know any of these breakers or you want to look in to get this, the article on Topps' site list, and you can click on the breaker and it takes you right to their break page. Like Steph, if you click on Mojo Break, it should show you their. Yeah, we'll use Mojo because they're right. Boom, right there. You can hop into their 6-case jumbo one. They're doing, I think, 2 6-case breaks, and I think the Royals at one. I think in case one I looked, the Royals were $100 for 6 cases of Royals cards. Not a bad deal. So we're efforting to get a reporter down there. So Topps, if you're listening, we emailed Mr. Clay today to see if we could get our reporter in the field over there just to get to see what it looks like. You know,
we might have to hire a reporter on the sideline. I got a free agent, so to speak.
Just like I said, just go in there tonight, break in tonight, and just stay. If you
squatters' rights, right?
I'll kick you out. You know, you have squatter rights at that point.
So Ben's buddy BG over at Leaf. They put out this website exclusive, and this happened today. I didn't even bother to look at it because I don't care, but I figured I'd read out what they were offering on their website. Today, Leaf made available its first ever website exclusive trading card offering. 6 years after everybody else has been doing it, but whatever. 2019, we're in 2020, by the way, just to let you guys know, but 2019 Leaf Metal Baseball Red, White, and Blue. I wonder where they got that idea. Edition were available exclusively on Leaf's website this morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. These limited boxes will include 6 red, white, and blue numbered out of 10 on-card autographs. There are under 300 total boxes made, and we expect this item to sell out in record time. Well, if you've never done it before, what does record time mean? I don't know. As fast as it takes Brian Gray to eat 10 cheeseburgers, who knows? I don't know. There will be a limit of 5 boxes per transaction. These will ship on the 16th and 17th of January as a last-second addition to our regular 2019 Leaf Metal Baseball release. We will be adding redemption cards for autograph for Uber prospect Jason Dominguez of the Yankees. So, really quick, it's a 2019 product that all of a sudden you're going to release a second edition parallel to after the fact, and then plug in redemption for the super prospect. But yeah, and even say how much they were, by the way, in this release, the boxes.
But it's the first time.
You should know that there's a strict limit of 5 per boxes, 5 per transaction.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Leaf. What a boring little.
They still have some available stuff. Oh, it's sold out. But again,
sold
it doesn't.
Out. Looks like they're using 1990 Leaf as a design again. And that sticker right there on the front, that looks like something from the 1990s as well. Right? Like 1996 Pinnacle or something.
Like, hey, I got a job well done sticker in the 5th grade, and it looked very similar to that.
I got box number 5280 of 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's right over the guy's head. It's like you're literally advertising 2 players on the front of the box. and let's cover up half of the card. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't cover up the name of the product.
literally like a microwavable like TV dinner covering up with a sticker the directions on how to cook the thing. You know, Brian did that stuff in his garage. He was probably dropping the box, and he was driving with his knee, and he's like, you know, that pow, lick 'em, stick 'em. His kids are in the back seat yelling at him. Dad, we want a French fry. God. This guy, man, this is what happens when you sell baseball cards out of the trunk of your
Lick 'em, stick 'em, baby. Our new podcast, Lick 'em, stick 'em. Come on down and get
hashtag lick 'em, stick 'em, hashtag
About the Cards is releasing a new product called Lick 'em, stick 'em. Stick 'em where you want. Lick it where you stick it, and you know you always gotta lick it before you stick it. Though I'm just gonna tell you that.
And he's like, "Damn it! I covered this guy's face again."
Fuck it. This one's got ketchup on it. What a burger!
I
said no ketchup.
It's all good, Brian. We love you.
Thanks for a laugh. Thanks for being on around.
We appreciate it.
By the way, it wasn't tweeted out. Somebody tweeted it out, and it looked like
Dean, we have no idea what the hell's wrong with this.
Yeah, it looked like it was an email blast. So
yeah, I got the same thing.
Yeah, it was. It looked.
At least he found out. At least he finally figured out where the caps lock key is. Because if you guys have never gotten an email advertising one of their products, it's all in all caps, like this.
Mm-hmm. They're just yelling at you. Strict limit of 5 boxes per transaction.
Matter of fact,
yelling. He's just faces all red and yeah. Yeah, it says important updates, but I think there was just anyway. Small Traditions LLC. We hate to report this, guys, but we need to. We need to tell you what's going on. So, at Sports Card News, our buddy Ryan put this out from their website. It's an article on Small Traditions LLC. They're accused of card trimming. So, Small Traditions LLC owner David Thorne is being accused of some big-time card trimming. Blowout Forum member, the guy, so it's a 312-4508 on ComC, lays out the significant evidence that shows many before and after items have been trimmed or altered by Thorne. So there's an original forum link that he's put in the article that we could share. It's the same. This is the same member who helped expose numerous card trimmers, including Gary Scissorhands Moser and former NFL player Evan Mathis. In addition to card trimming, Thorne is believed to have a special relationship with PSA. Thorne has attended an invite-only PSA events where high-volume submitters, like Smaller Traditions, are able to meet with the graders and in order to discuss discrepancies with cards that appear to be undergraded. According to a letter Thorne sent Small Traditions customers, PSA Invitational event is one of the best opportunities of the year to realize successful reviews when an undergraded card can be discussed in person and bumped to the next grading level. They also sponsor a monthly sweepstakes, a contest for the mailing list for PSA, and Thorne is also accused of creating fake providences for many items sold through Small Traditions. To make his auctions descriptions look and sound better, Thorne will create fake fines, fake collection breaks, and fake consigners. And actually, these items were things Thorne purchased individually on his Small Traditions eBay account. In most cases, were also trimmed. So, I mean, you go through this, and there's just so many cards. And then these things like, hey, collections we've sold, like they go and they'll gather, a bunch of Fleer Jordans and be like, oh, this all came from one spot. Check it out. It's a great find. We're going to break it up. When additionally, there's information where he just went out and bought them individually. So
I don't know why the FBI or local PD or anybody isn't hiring these guys off of Blowout, because these people that are unearthing and doing all of this homework,
this is a lot.
I mean, they get the Zodiac probably. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, these dudes are phenomenal. it really is impressive, the homework that they're doing, and the fact that they're not just accusing, hey, Dave Smith is guilty of card trimming. Okay. I mean, they're coming out with all kinds of, before and after. And I mean, look at this. If you're watching the video right now, we're doing a compare and contrast between
where his shoe is.
Yeah. The proof that they've come forward with is phenomenal. And it's very damning of the person that's being accused, to the point where you really don't have a foot to fall back on. At this point, you're guilty, at least in the court of public opinion.
I think I have that postcard, by the way. I really do. I think I have like 3 of them over here.
I'll take one.
$112.
No, that's trimmed and.
Well, I'll trim you. How's that?
Well, just trim it and then I'll pay it, because
that's cut your beard.
You son of a gun.
Anyway,
I got a job offer recently.
Is he hardened, by the way?
They're like, you're gonna have to trim your beard, and I'm like, you know what? No, thank you.
So just check it out. I mean, it's just another one that, it's just another one. And if you check out their list, I love the names they've given these guys, Scissor Hands and all the fun stuff there. So
Laser, awesome. Diamond Eyes.
Yeah, Laser, just amazing names.
No,
and I can tell you, so I talked with Ryan at the last card show when we talked about this on the last podcast, and got a good majority of like the stuff with the Tesla and the cars and the watches and stuff. They're leaning into all the people giving him crap about it because they find it funny. So I'm just letting you know, like, you can say whatever you want, but they do it just to poke at you. Like when your brother and sister's like, not touching, not touching, not touching, not touching, not touching. That's what they're doing, because it frustrates you and upsets you. And
sure,
it's hilarious.
That's essentially what we do pre-show.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, but they have great information. So you got to pull it out away from the shtick a little bit and get the good info anyway. It's funny to me.
And really, when you look at it, who's getting irritated or bothered by it, right?
Snowflakes.
It's the old guy thing, right? If we're never ever gonna say anything nice about each other, because why would we do that? We're gonna rib each other and call each other names and be derogatory, because that's how guys show their love and affection, right? So when Colin and Ryan are going out and saying, this, that, and the other thing about anything, the majority of us are looking at it in a humorous way. We're laughing right along. We're supporting Colin and Ryan's position. It's the people that are getting bothered by it are probably on the wrong side of the ledger, right? You're probably bothered by it because there's some truth behind it. You're defending yourself or whatever because you're in the wrong to begin with.
Or you support those guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're a PWCC honk or P whatever, Joe Orlando man, and what do I know? I bought from Probstein earlier.
Yeah.
So
we should
now,
take you off the show for that.
If you're a quote unquote Orlando man, does that make you a Florida man?
It does. You have to be. They're synonymous.
Because that has new story written all over it.
So we continue on the scammers thing. At Brent Beckett tweeted out, I know, and this was I think yesterday, I know this hobby has its scandals and shady people, but I also know it exists everywhere. Yet I'm starting to think, despite the massive amounts of great people in it, that the percentage of scammers or whatever sure seems higher than any other quote hobby. So what do you think? Do you think we have a higher percentage of scammers and douchebags than the other hobbies do?
Outside of like high-end fine arts and forgeries, it's. I mean, you're not going to find as many people trying to sell fake Star Wars figures.
Yeah, you are. The difference is, look at this. My timeline. I can only speak from my timeline on Twitter, where I get most of my interaction with the hobby. Right, 95% of it is card related. The rest of it's probably sports related. Okay. Most of it, but I'm not in artwork. I'm not in coins. I'm not in action figures. I'm not in the other hobby. I was talking to my dad about it, and guys create custom toy trains all the time. They're not licensed by American Flyer or Lionel or any of the other producers. They're stuff that's made in somebody's garage and sold as such. It's sold as customs. My dad has sold them for years. They're not looked at like they are in our hobby, but they're customs nonetheless. There's plenty of scammers in every hobby. We notice it more because this is our hobby. This is where we reside. And unfortunately, due to the scandals that we've seen, the trimming scandals and everything over the last, say, 24 months or so, it's becoming more and more. And the fact that somebody like Brent Williams is on eBay, he's going to see a lot of it because you get people that are buying and scamming and returning crap when the prices drop. And, it's just one of those things. We notice it more because this is where we're at. It's kind of like buying a new car. When you buy a new car, you start seeing them all over the road all of a sudden. Doesn't mean that there are more. It's just you notice them more because it's in front of your mind now.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat here, and I'm not chat, but in reply to Brent and Becca, and I just hit share. Recommended that he watched a documentary called Sour with Canadian E grapes. And I'm watching the trailer, and essentially it's fakes and forgeries in the wine selling business. Uncorked. Huh. Now, I can't speak to, one, the documentary, but two, whether it's more or worse. But that's another route of people that we heard stories when Gary Vee popped into the collecting world where, well, he did wine and that's a corrupt business. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That doesn't mean that he is.
Sure. Yeah. Everything has a contingency. It's just a matter of how involved you are. I would never in a million years thought that the wine industry had it. Why? Because I don't drink wine. I don't live in that world. I don't go to wineries. I don't go to taste testing and all this stuff. You won't catch wine. And I mean, I've got like 2 or 3 bottles. Probably never will drink them. Wine's not my thing. So
what you're saying is the only fake alcohol you have is, when you borrowed some from your father as a kid and you poured some water in the vodka.
See, and we never really had alcohol in our house, especially growing up. If we had alcohol in our house, it was being used for cooking, and solely for cooking. And it's just one of those things that what's in your industry. I'm sure the art world is flush with forgeries and fraud. You see it all the time on shows like Mysteries at the Museum, and movies have been made about it, right? Thomas Crown Affair, things. Baseball cards, we notice it because that's what we do. It's what we live. Brent eats, sleeps, breathes, and, well, I'm assuming he sleeps.
I don't think he did. Well, only not when Topps comes out with products. Real quick, when Million Cubs Project, I was very hesitant to start selling PWE on eBay because of non-receipt claims due to lack of no tracking. It's been the opposite. I agree. I've had one, and all of the PWEs I've sent out in the last year of selling, I've had one instance where someone came back and said it wasn't delivered on a dollar card. I happen to have a second one of it, a second copy, mailed off to the guy, and he was happy. Again,
it's one of those things that we're very quick to run onto Yelp and discuss a very bad experience we have at a local restaurant or wherever we're at, right?
Angela on Twitter.
We're very slow to go to those same Google reviews and Yelp and say nice things when we have a great experience. Hey, that was a great dinner we had, right? We had a great time, a blast, not just because of the company, but because the service was great and the food was delicious. My dad and I went out the other night and we had a great meal. We're not going to go on Yelp. Why? Because we don't feel like it's necessary. But I guarantee you, if they had forgot us in the back of the restaurant and took 30 minutes to get our order, we would have said something. And that's indicative of how many good transactions and good people are in this hobby. Thousands, millions, whatever.
Well, I can speak to it too, because I've received probably 10 packages now from my buddy Ethan of hockey cards. Mm-hmm. And I've heard some more coming. Real quick, I need to say, hey, I forgot to talk about this earlier when we talked about Revolution. Yesterday, Panini tweeted out the checklist for Revolution that comes out Friday.
They did 2 days early, 3 days.
No, it came out on Tuesday. It comes out Friday. I was like, wait, what? A checklist before release date?
And And props to them for that. Maybe it's turning around.
Yeah, one last thought on scammers too before we move on. If you're on Facebook in any of the groups that have thousands of members, you see scamming all the time. People complaining about it, and this person scammed me. And there's such a common thread. So many people send friends and family or Venmo, which we've discussed. It's just one of those things that there's so many ways that you can protect yourself to at least mitigate the amount of scammers you expose yourself to. And I think a lot of the people that, there are a lot of names that are on the scammers list, and I've seen it on that scammers group. Somebody will go on there and say, oh, again, Dave Smith, sorry if there's actually a Dave Smith out there, but, Dave Smith scammed me, and other people hop in. Didn't you check the list? His name's on there. We all know that he's a well-known scammer. You're the latest victim. There are resources available out there to try to do your best to avoid it. It's going to happen. We're all going to be on one side or another at some point. It's going to happen, whether you're a buyer or you're the seller. You can't do away with it altogether. I just think it's more prevalent now because, again, we're all on Twitter, so we're very quick to
but hold on. So Tim Seberg says it was said at the National that most people in our own hobby aren't aware of the scandals. 65% was the quote they were given. I mean, I can tell you this: there are people that don't know there's a hobby Twitter.
Sure.
They don't understand
Instagram or
Instagram or Facebook or any of that stuff, and they're just blinded. And they're not. There's the only media that they have is the content that come in, like maybe a card show, maybe at a card shop, and that maybe a publication that comes out monthly, and that's it. But some of them don't even know that though. If you're not on Twitter, you probably really not, or on Facebook or some kind of a social media, you're probably also not listening to a podcast either. By the way, I thought this said something different. New Year's resolution when I quickly saw it. Panini's New Year's resolution, but I thought it was another word at first. Speaking of, they're coming out
of exposing yourself.
Yeah, they're coming out with a new movie. Now, the Yankees had Bang the Drum Slowly. The Houston Astros have Bang the Trash Can when it's
loudly.
A curveball.
Bang it loudly, right?
Yeah, bang it loudly. So Houston Astros collectibility. So at SoCal Hobby Club tweeted out, so what impact does this have on Springer, Bregman, Altuve, and Correa cards in the hobby dollar box beauties? Or did they even get asked to sign cards by Topps again? Are you keeping your collection? So they're reaching out because of the whole thing about the videotaping the signs and stealing signs, and we saw the follow with AJ Hinch and the GM, and then Alex Cora, and I'm waiting to find out, if Beltran's gonna ever manage the Mets. What the hell's all going on there?
I think the best punishment for him would be to have to manage
the Mets. There you go. So what do you think happening? Because Bregman is getting into his own in collecting. I think he's kind of the guy there now as far as that you want to go and collect. Correa's there, Altuve and Springer, and put Springer at a distant fourth. But what do you think happens to the hobby value of these four guys being associated with this team and this scandal?
Well, you can only assume that it's going down just because of the associations. People are going to buy it, so you're going to see a natural spike, but their values are going to go down. I would have to assume. Ben?
Yeah, short term, yeah. For now, people are going to see. That's the thing, is people are going to look to offload it. I don't want this in my collection now because they're cheaters. Come on, those people are really just looking to capitalize on the fact that these names are now going to be more discussed, right? Kind of like when Andrew Luck retired last year. If you're a buyer, now would be the time to look and see if you can capitalize on a flood of this stuff hitting the market. If you're a seller right now, is not the right time to try to offload any of this stuff. Hold, because you're going to be buying, or you're going to be selling at the lowest common denominator. This is the wrong time to offload. Long term, whether it's a few months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, their cards are going to ultimately bounce back. We're not going to see a big tick because, again, who cheated? Did Altuve cheat? Can you prove it? Is it quantifiable? Can we say that his stats were inflated because he knew that a curveball was coming? Do we know that for certain?
Yeah.
Well, we can look at the videos that have been posted and see who was batting.
You can, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't hit the ball anyway. Again, if we relate this back to the steroid era, and I'll use my guy McGuire, did he hit more home runs because he was on steroids? Was he able to stay in the lineup more because he was able to avoid or heal faster? Avoid injury? Who knows? We don't know. There's a reason that the players didn't get popped. There's a lot of variables why the players didn't get popped, and they probably should have been suspended because we just don't know. How can you punish somebody? It's the old school classroom thing, right? Well,
Guilt by association.
Everybody's guilty, so we're going to punish everybody. No, you can't do that. So everybody's guilty, so we're going to punish nobody because we don't know who actually
participated. So one of our local the morning drive guy here on KHDK, Carmichael Dave, said that what if he just off, what he was thinking, like, what if the Astros received the death penalty for Major League Baseball? And what his idea was allowing all of the other teams to draft a player from the Major League roster, not the minor leagues, just the Major League roster, and the draft order be the reverse of the last year's standings. So kind of like an expansion style draft. And so the Tigers would be on the clock with the first pick, and then every team would have a chance either to select a player or pass. We talked about this before. It's like the Marlins, would they might want to take an Altuve contract, or a Springer contract or a Verlander contract. They might decide to take Yordan Alvarez because maybe he's got a more player friendly or team friendly deal. And so I put it out there on Twitter right before we hopped on the show. A couple of responses. Bregman would be the first. A lot of Bregman. A Tigers fan said Altuve. So we got a vote for Correa, but this isn't going to be a realistic thing. But if it was, how exciting would that? How would that not be the best deterrent ever?
Sure.
And second of all, how exciting would that draft be to watch?
Dude, that would be a pay-per-view. $59.99. Are you telling me you wouldn't pay $60 to watch that live?
Yeah.
Who the Tigers took? Because your first thought would be, if it's just 40-man roster guys, right? 29 teams, you can only take who's on the 40-man. Alvarez, Tucker, Whitley would be 3 of the top 5 picks because of their upside and the fact that they have 5 and 6 years of team control left. Bregman does have a great contract, so he would be the first big name to go. Altuve probably would at some point. Springer has 1 year left. I think Correa has 2. So you would assume that they might not be as promising unless you're a bigger team. More, when I say bigger, I guess a better.
But look at this. So real quick, you got Tigers, Orioles, Marlins, Royals, Blue Jays. So just to give you an idea, all the first 4 teams are all kind of like in a rebuild stage. The Blue Jays might have the capital to go, oh, we'll take Verlander.
They would take either Verlander or Springer on a 1-year deal because they would be. Toronto has the financial wherewithal to offer Springer a multi-year deal.
Well, and then the Padres are drafting 8th. The Angels are drafting 10th. They're the White Sox who trying to make some signings. They're drafted. They would be picking 11. Some of these teams could make an immediate turnaround by just adding that one player. Anyway, I think it was a great topic. It would destroy the Astros. They would be back below the depths that they were before they drafted all these guys. But what a penalty it would be. So.
But look at this. If we this is probably the second biggest scandal in baseball history outside the Black Sox scandal, right? Those players played the 1920 season, and the suspensions went into effect in 21, if I'm not mistaken. And that killed their team, right? Look at the names comparative to the roster at that time. It killed their team going into the 20s. You want to give them the ultimate death penalty and strip them of all of their major league talent and say, sorry, you're back to the Stone Age. Plus, you're losing draft picks, and they should have lost, at the very least, international signing money and capability like the Atlanta Braves did a few years back. I'm surprised they didn't get popped with that too. But, it would be fascinating. As we relate it back to cards, however, I don't really think you're going to see It's going to be marginal. Maybe you see a little bit of a drop off for a little while just because everybody's pissed off right now. And if you're a Yankee fan, a Dodger fan, a divisional opponent of the Astros, you might offload it. But again, right now is not the time. I wouldn't. If you have those cards, just hold them. You know, wait for the season to start. We're going to know by mid-season really how, if Bregman and Altuve are hitting 240. Then now we got something we can talk about.
Yeah, no, it'd just be interesting to see if that happens. Now it makes me want to do a mock draft. I'm just saying.
Yeah, real quick, Chris Torres just mentioned Astros veterans were not really that big of sellers. So comparatively speaking, what is their current market versus?
Well, the one card I could say is Altuve's rookie card from 11 update was always pretty hot.
Sure.
A few Bregman things, but yeah, the other guys and maybe Correa's first Bowman.
But are you really thinking about those? If we did a Beckett hot list of the top 20 cards in the hobby, how many months back would you have to go to have one of those top 20?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. I'm glad I sold that. I'm glad I sold that World Series magazine when I did.
Yeah, nobody's thinking about the 2011 Altuve. Nobody.
Zion's going to make his debut, everybody. You ready? He's going to make the New Orleans Pelicans anticipate that Zion Williamson will make his regular season debut January 22nd against the lowly San Antonio Spurs.
What a stupid team name, the New Orleans Pelicans.
Let's not. Anyway, they're going to be the Seattle Supersonics or the Kansas City whatevers in a few years. Anyway.
Like if you're sitting there like the Chicago Bulls, that's not like a tough sounding name, right?
Yeah,
Chicago Bulls. It's got it's like the White Shrew talking about the word murder. The R sounding so menacing. That's why they don't call it Muck Duck, right? It's like the Chicago Bulls sound like a tough ass team. It's like, hey, the New Orleans Pelicans. It doesn't get much more pansy than that.
Yeah, no, there was. I was trying to think what the other names were for the Pelicans before.
The Hornets.
No. But what the other because they gave the Hornets back. But what were the names they were going to have before? And it was here we go, the Pelicans, the Mosquitoes, the Royale, Swamp Dogs, or Bull Sharks.
No,
I think the Pelicans though is the best out of the worst options.
The Mosquitoes.
Well, real quick, when the Charlotte Bobcats came around, they could have been the Charlotte Flight, which would have been cool. They were named the Bobcats because the owner's name was Bob.
You know what the New Orleans Pelicans or the Mosquitoes sound like is all those team names sound like a low-level single-A team in baseball.
Why aren't they the New Orleans Baby Cakes? That's a better name. That minor league team name.
The minor leagues are just flush with stupid names.
So Zion's going to make his debut a week from today when we're on a show, so we'll give you an update. But so I want to know, I have some 3 cards I picked out that have sold previously today's show. And I want to know what you think that they will go to after his debut or during this next week as he's debuting. So a Prism base right now, one sold this morning for $59.99. So $60 for a base card. Prism Silver sold today for $1,200. And then he had a Contenders rookie ticket autograph that sold for $13.80. And the reason I picked the Contenders rookie autograph is because that is probably one of the more sought after autographs, where the Prism autograph maybe not so much. So what do you think his card prices do after he has, or what do you think his card prices will do from now until his debut?
I mean, game dependent. Obviously, you're going to see a.
No. I'm just saying. No. So from tonight until the debut, before he makes his debut next Wednesday. So in the next week's time, while he's still not playing.
Oh, people are going to try to offload it while they can.
So you think people are going to try to sell more of Zion right now?
So, some of them, the people who aren't as savvy on his play, or the fact that he might be the next Greg Oden, or any number of factors.
Okay.
I can see a rush on people trying to list him. I already saw it on my Twitter feed.
What do you think, Benjamin?
Yeah, Steph's right. We'll probably see those base before he actually debuts, if that's the cutoff. we'll probably see those start to probably hit triple digits, low hundreds, and the auto might push $2,000.
Okay. What do you think his card prices will do after he has like a decent debut? Say he gets 15, 8, and 3 assists. Like he's not getting a triple double, but he's going out and he's having a solid debut, 18 points, 8 boards, something like that. Has a cool couple fun dunks. Do you think it drives his prices crazy like we talked about with Dube the other day, where he made one slam dunk and his silver went from $1 to $60?
No, because Zion is the number 1 pick. He's the heir apparent. He's the hot name. What's going to end up happening is everybody is going to rush, if they're not already, like Steph said, to list these to the point where there's going to be such a saturation on the market over the next 7 to 10 days that it might have a negative effect.
But if you're a buyer of Zion and you think he's going to be awesome, wouldn't that be a great time to take advantage of a flooded market?
Sure. I mean, like right now, but see, it's one of those things I always say, if you didn't want it today, you don't want it tomorrow, or you didn't want it yesterday, you don't want it today. You think about this, know your market, right? If $60 is where it's at right now, you're going to see a slight bump, some kind of an uptick, a 1.5 multiplier or something. Just sit tight, because over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a market dip. I can almost guarantee it. And that would be the time to start buying, because once the oversaturation, then it's going to be a race to the bottom for a little while. And you might not save a ton of money, but the $60 price points might jump to 100 and then drop down to 45. And that would be the time to try to buy if you're in the market for one,
What if he plays poorly? What do you think, Steph? If he goes out and he goes like 4 of 15 and, he's got 8 points and 2 boards and gets in foul trouble and looks just like a big fat oaf out there.
So essentially, if he starts looking like one of us on the basketball court.
You can talk for yourself. I can ball pretty good for being a big fella, but no, yeah. So he looks like an average Joe out there.
It's going to tank. Everyone's going to try to dip, and it's just going to lower all the card prices.
Yeah. And by the way, these are all raw. None of these cards were graded. So
giggity.
What do you expect for him on the court? What do you think he's going to do?
2 goals, 1 assist, and a Gordie Howe hat trick.
Yeah. Probably touchdown, 2 interceptions. Probably Jameis Winston's average day, 3 and 3.
I hate you guys.
No, he's probably going to have a couple of really big games early on. I would think, though, that they're probably going to limit his minutes. So I would think that the first handful of games, he's probably going to be in the mid-20s minutes-wise. But I can see them trying to run that offense through him just to kind of get him back in the swing of things. And if that's happening, again, curb your enthusiasm. It's probably going to be post All-Star break, assuming that he stays healthy once he's on the court. Post All-Star break before you really start to see what he might be. But he's a marked man. People are going to want to, all right, what's this guy about?
Yeah. What's this kid playing? Tim asked a question, why dip? I've been saving my wax to sell when he comes back. Wrong decision. I think it goes up when he's playing. Yeah, and I also think, too, the wax, we're talking individual cards here. I think the wax is a little different because Ja Morant, I loved what he did to Harden. Harden the other night, hey, so come on, take a 3. Morant hits this ridiculous 3 and then says, tell that for who I am. And I was just like, yes, you're on the Grizzlies. You're talking shit to the MVP. That's awesome. And I think there's a couple other guys that are going to kind of push the wax a little bit more. But no, I think it's kind of a good decision to see what happens. And then everybody kind of has the opportunity like, hey, I got a Zion in this. I'm kind of a wait and see. I think he's going to have a decent rookie year. I think that he's not going to it's not going to look special this year just because of the injury that he had and he's coming back from. And we need to hold and wait. So if my suggestion is if you have Zion and you're not sure what to do, I would hold because I have some Zions. I'm just going to sit and hold them because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I mean, if you got him out of a pack, you probably really didn't pay all that much to get him. And at this time, just wait and see. The worst thing he does is he blows, he never plays and ends up being a Greg Oden, and it's a $5 card, and it's a story one day.
In April, he'll probably have 17 and 7, an average on the year, which isn't great. It's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah. And you got to expect that, what would he have been 100% healthy? So,
42 field goal shooter. I mean, I know that his game was really heavy on his ability to get to the rim, but I think he's undersized, and I think he's going to find out that there's a lot of tall trees in the low post, and he might not have as good of an opportunity or the frequency to get to that rim. And so his shooting percentage is probably going to dip. But yeah, ultimately, I think, you're sharing what Kevin Jones is saying, that he's predicting a Greg Oden 2.0. Is he going to be that bad? Probably not, but he's probably going to be a Charles Barkley light, and that ain't so bad, but it's not so great.
So he's going to be Larry Johnson. I think he's a Larry Johnson light.
I don't think he's going to be the investment
that people are making him out to be.
Potential that everybody's trying to say that, yeah, he's going to be this great long-term. I mean, we were kind of talking about that with the Adley Rushman Superfractor. If he's Matt Wieters 2.0, I mean, literally he's going to have to put Yadier Molina or Joe Mauer to shame in order for him to justify what people are paying right now.
He'd have to put
and Posey too,
and Johnny Bench to shame. Like, he would have to be one of the greatest catchers, because we've talked about Posey before. Collectible team, right? The Giants have a solid fan base with collectors that have money in the Bay Area. He has an MVP, a Rookie of the Year, 3 World Series. He's a multiple-time All-Star, Gold Glover, all this stuff, and he still doesn't. He sells for a few. Joey Bard outsells him.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just interesting to see. We're going to revisit this the next couple of weeks just to kind of give you an update of where it's gone.
Matt Wieters.
Where have you been?
You just jump in.
Eating carrots.
I'm on a 47-minute delay back here, guys. Like, I think
well, no, you were talking about catchers. I'm like, well, if we're going to bring up the Orioles, Matt Wieters.
He mentioned Matt Wieters leading off.
That was the first thing I said.
It was the first name out of his mouth.
Dude, saying is what sounds like that. So, sue me.
Welcome to the show, Steph. It's been nice having you with us.
So, announcing the Burdick Award, Jefferson Burdick. So, this was a post taken from this Saber Baseball Cards blog. We take a break from our usual baseball card storytelling this week to announce a new award approved by Saber Board of Directors and coming out with our very own baseball card research committee. The Jefferson Burdick Award for contributions to the hobby will be handed out for the very first time at Saber 50, our national conference taking place from July 15th to 19th in Baltimore. At this time, it's our pleasure to announce that Saber's inaugural recipient of this prestigious honor will be up to you. There's an award criteria. Yes, we're looking for you to nominate a worthy recipient who has made significant contributions to the hobby in areas such as baseball card research, scholarship, baseball card creation, production, innovation, developing, maintaining resources like publications, websites, communities, events for collectors, increasing access, knowledge, or enjoyment. In short, we are looking for individuals who have made baseball card collecting a better hobby for the rest of us. Hands down, right now, nominate About the Cards podcast. They've made us all better. They're going to win the award. No. The first one that comes to my mind is Dr. Beckett.
Sure.
Because that's kind of where a lot of us in our, 20 or 30s and 40s and 50s got a lot of our information and went to, that's kind of
to have him on the show here soon.
Mm-hmm. We're hoping to get that. There's probably a good handful or two of people on this that could be nominated for this list. And I'm excited to find out.
I'm just reading the criteria. I mean, research, catalog creation, maintaining resources. That just screams Dr. Beckett.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're putting together a Mount Rushmore of trading cards, I forget the gentleman's name that originally, and I apologize, that came up with the numbering system for the tobacco series. I don't know if you know off the top of your head, Steph.
Jefferson Burdick.
If I don't think that was his name, was it? But if we're looking at the all-time Mount Rushmore, yeah, Jim Beckett's going to be on a short list for the top 4 of all time. There's not a lot of people that we would put in that high esteem within the hobby. and rightly so. And we're not talking about people that necessarily own manufacturer companies and stuff like that. People independent of Topps and Panini and Donruss and Fleer and the original Leaf and all that stuff. Just people that played a role in the hobby, and Beckett's right there. I mean, his name is synonymous.
Yeah, so it was Jefferson Burdick with the American Card Catalog. The first known cataloging appeared in a short article in a magazine in 1936.
Okay.
And then the United States Card Collectors Catalog was published in 1939.
Yeah, it's a short list of people that have had a long-lasting impact on the hobby. And I mean, there's not anybody that's in this hobby that's been in this hobby since the 80s that are returning that don't know his last name.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
So why shouldn't he be a recipient? Again, if we're making the Mount Rushmore, put 4 people on there that are more impactful of what he's done. I challenge you to find 4.
Oh, Bobby Lemke.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because as Rich was discussing this, I hadn't seen the blowout form, but they're looking for people who are alive. But definitely Lemke would be up there.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to put together a list of see a list of 10, 12, 15 names that were so impactful that, it'd be kind of fun. And I'll be the first to admit, I am not, that would not be my area of expertise. Somebody, whether Kevin Jones had come up with a couple of names, somebody
Mark Boyle would probably have a pretty good list of people, wouldn't you think?
Oh, I'm sure. Mark Armour, there's probably a lot of people that we can probably turn to say, hey, if we wanted to put together a list of 10 to 12 names of Mount Rushmore-esque people within the hobby, let's put together 10 or 12 names before we come up with a short list of 4. Again, not my area. I'd be the first one to admit that, but it'd be fun to look at that list and kind of get like a little brief bio.
Yeah. So that's cool. And the last thing is there was at Collect Sport on Twitter. What's the best TTM auto you've ever scored? Of course, pictures would be nice. Guys, what's one of the best TTMs you've ever received?
Well, I've only sent off 2 or 3, and the only decent one I can think of those is my Pat Nashak, his Major League debut ticket signed.
Oh, nice. Mine would probably be, of a couple. When I was a kid, I sent one to Mike Mussina in his second year, and he signed a 92 Fleer. That's one of my favorite. My favorite, though, was I sent one to Ned Yost, and I didn't sign. I think it was a 2013 Topps Heritage, I believe, and signed it. And he sent back a nice note. So, Ben, do you have any TTMs that you've ever done?
Yeah, I got really hot and heavy into when I got back in the hobby in 2012. I sent a bunch of stuff off to the A's. That was, the year that they had a ton of names, and I sent stuff off to Cespedes and Parker and Derek Norris and all kinds of guys, and quite a few of them had sent stuff back. Unfortunately, Cespedes did not, and I was a little disappointed because obviously that was my guy, right? From 12 to 14, I was deep in there. And then one day I go check the mail, probably 2013, 2014, and I got something in the mail from the A's, and I opened it up, and sure enough, it was all 3 Cespedes cards. And anybody that is familiar with him knows that his autograph says Y52C, and his early autos were all said Cespedes, and literally less than 1% of all of his autos have the full signature, and all 3 of these came back signed with the full signature, even though by this point he was well into the abbreviated one. And I thought, man, you got to be kidding me. I got him back probably about a year and a half later with the full signature. So that was friggin' awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now I don't need to do through the mail anymore. I just do archive signature.
Real quick, someone brought up that on the Topps living cards this week, the back of the card, the Whitman Infield has a copyright of 2020, and the Sunny Gray, which is the card number after his, has a copyright of 2019.
I bet they correct that before they get released.
So just interesting. Tweets are coming through as I'm listening. We're doing the show here, and I was checking it out and know what the hell's going on. So
Sure does.
And it looks like our YouTube page is at 393. We're 7 away from 400. Not too bad. What's TTM? Through the mail autograph. So
where you send a card and an envelope, and they sign it and return it back to you.
Mm-hmm. I did a lot as a kid. I think Eric Wedge was another one because he played at Wichita State, and he signed a 93 Topps Colorado Rockies card for me. Just because I thought he was the catcher of the World Series championship team. Thought that was pretty cool. So, guys, that's it. That's our show tonight. An hour and a half. We're not going over to 2 hours like last week, and so Uncle Rich will be happy. But I appreciate the comments about enjoying the 2 hour show. Some people like that as well. So, any final thoughts before we head out tonight? All right.
None that I can think of.
No,
I'll let you guys know about next week shortly. That's the signal that I won't be here.
By the way,
if you bang it from the top.
That was a beautiful song there that you were playing. What was that, a slider?
Yes. I've had this since 1987.
You're a good man. I've got one out in the garage. It's Oakland A's.
Yep. And
I got one next to me for the North Stars.
What? The Dallas Stars.
Who?
North Stars.
The Dallas Stars.
I didn't stutter.
The Dallas. Remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. Follow Ben, or as he's in the show known before the show, Deshaun, at Our Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. Follow me at Big Shep 79. And please share your hobby stories, great polls, and send your questions our way. And we'll try to help you out. So thanks a lot for hanging out this
night. So you hit 400.
Yeah, and 400 on YouTube would be cool. That'd be awesome. So,
Indeed.
All right, well, I'll see you next week, and we might have a surprise guest host next week hanging out with us.
Along with a superstar, me.
Debatable.
Have a good night, everybody.
There's really two schools of thought.